Hi there guys, Volatile 42 here. So by now most of you know that I have sold my Harley Sportster. That was about a month ago. So now I don't have a proper motorcycle. I have the Vespa, and although I was thinking that for this intermediate period the Vespa would be enough, to keep me satisfied, but I'm afraid that's not the case. Not the case at all, in fact. Well, it's fun. Vespa is fun. But it's far from a proper motorcycle. Maybe if it was more powerful, I would be okay, but it doesn't really give me that satisfaction of a properly powerful motorcycle. So as I had said in my last video, once I sell the Harley, I would be taking a good amount of time to do the research on what my next bike is gonna be, and that has started. But I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't get desperate and do some quick decisions. I would properly take the time to research, do test rides, analyze everything in detail, and then decide which one I would get. But that being a time-consuming process, I'm not so sure how long I can wait now. So what I did was my first choice was a Benelli TRK 502. So yeah, so what I did was I took a test ride of the TRK 502, and you would also remember that I had said that everything was great about that bike, including the price, but the only iffy thing would be the power from that 500cc motorcycle, or the 500cc engine for such a big motorcycle. So I took the test ride. Let's cut over to that test ride video now, and after the ride I'm going to be talking about my thoughts about the motorcycle. No mirrors, it's a bit difficult. Hi there, so this is my test ride of the Benelli TRK 502. It's the non-X version with the alloy wheels and slightly lower ground clearance and seat height. So yeah, first impressions, seems adequately powerful and not too I'm not feeling the lack of power really, but at the same time it doesn't feel it seems quite tame, so only when you really ring the throttle you can make out the you can feel the acceleration. Otherwise it's quite tame. Riding position, I don't know, it's probably my habit from riding the Harley, but it doesn't feel that relaxed. It almost feels a little sporty, which is a bit odd because You wouldn't expect that from a ADV or touring motorcycle. Brakes, I would have expected it to be a bit more sharp. Well, it's a test ride bike, so you know, but it only has 358 kilometers, which is not a lot. I think the torque at the low end is pretty good because when you get going, even without any throttle input, it pulls quite cleanly when you release the clutch. Engine braking is good in first gear. It's really difficult to ride without the mirrors, man. I'm so used to riding with mirrors on always. Let's see how neutral. Okay, good enough. Yeah, the bike feels big, but I think it's just the fairing. There isn't much inside it. The fuel tank, 20 liters, but I think it's only this much. I heard from one source that it's only the central black area that has the fuel tank, and not the plastic parts here. The guys at my 8 o'clock think it's a Harley. I want to deliberately go over some bad surfaces to check the how the suspension deals with them. Now, from what I heard, the 502, the non-X, doesn't have very good suspension for bad roads because it's more road focused. The X has better suspension, but I'm not really considering the X. Well, you know what? Until very recently, I was considering the X, but I just recently learned that as it has spoked wheels, it does not have tubeless tires, and they are very important for me. I don't want to get stuck somewhere with a puncture on a tube tire. See, it's got good pull, but almost, sorry about the visor. Performance is, well, the acceleration is kind of similar to the Harley I had. The good pull, but not a lot. The speed increase, if you see, well, the sound, somebody commented that the revs increase very fast, and that gives you a sense of strong acceleration, but if you look at the speed, the corresponding increase in speed is not much. I think that's not the case. Maybe if you compare to, say, some of the 650s or bigger engine motorcycles, maybe that's true. Or maybe even the smaller 400s like the Duke 390. That may be true because it's a much lighter bike. This one, a 500cc with 200 plus kilos of curb weight, I think it's pretty good. Okay, vibes, yeah, there are some vibes. It's not free from vibes, but I think it kind of feels good, gives it character. suspension is good enough, I think. Well, the roads are not that bad. Here it feels pretty good. I mean, it looks like a smooth road, but it's not very smooth, you know. There are those expansion joints on the bridge. Whoa, I'm doing 102 and in 6th gear. Okay. So here's the thing. Didn't feel like 102 or 105, whatever. It felt like 80. But I didn't know I was on 6th gear because the revs seemed pretty high. I thought I was in maybe 4th or 5th, and you know, at 80 or 90 and waiting to accelerate more. Okay, I just took the speed breaker and tried accelerating from there at 3rd gear. I don't know what the speed was, but I don't have mirrors, so can't do a brake check. But anyway, so the pull initially was a bit lagging. We didn't really hesitate, like it didn't knock or you know, get completely bogged down. It pulled a little slower, but from 4,000 RPM it was pretty strong. The bike feels pretty quiet, but that may just be because in this area the ambient noise is so high. Even my Harley used to feel very quiet here. I mean, even with the Vance & Hines exhausts, which is, I mean, I know they are obnoxiously loud, but here they felt pretty okay because yeah, the ambient noise is so high from all these other vehicles. And I'm really liking this bike. It's pretty, you know, it's easy to handle in the city. Doesn't feel that massive. Pulls really good beyond 6,000. Almost scared me. Okay, so this has a temperature gauge. I'm not used to all these things. Of course, water-cooled motorcycles should have a temperature gauge, ideally. And I prefer having a temperature gauge than just those indicator lights that light up only when it's overheated, you know. So it's not overheating here. Is that behind us? No? No. Okay, so that's a good thing. I just killed the engine from the kill switch. Ignition is still on. So I saw that the headlight was on for a while, but then it turned off. And now just those LED DRLs are on. And light comes on again, the headlight, after I crank the engine. That's good. low speed stability is excellent. By the way, since it's just done less than 400 kilometers, I should stick to the running in restrictions, which is not going... Oh, what is this? That's the problem with this place. It doesn't go to yellow, it goes straight to red from green. Okay, so running in, below 1,000 kilometers, you need to stay below 5,600 RPM, if I remember correctly, from the owner's manual. So yeah, but I think occasionally you can go beyond that. I'll try to stay there. Occasionally I'll go a little high just to check out the vibes. But being a test ride machine, you know, people probably would have already redlined it. Okay, when I said the performance is similar to my Harley, it's pretty much spot on. You know, accelerating in top gear in the vicinity of 100 kilometers per hour feels pretty much the same. But I can kind of understand when people say that about the vibes, you know. They're not outright unpleasant, but if you're going to be doing long highway rides, I guess after a point it can get a little, you know, annoying. So 123, 24, still okay. I should turn back soon because I don't really feel comfortable, you know, riding on the highway, changing lanes and such without the mirrors. Overall gearing seems a little low. I mean, I'm kind of having to shift to top gear even at say 50 to 60 kilometers per hour. And that, I think, is primarily because of the vibes or the buzziness of the engine. It's not like I was doing very high RPMs and I had to shift to the higher gears. Look at me now, fourth gear, 60, 59, 3,500 roughly. Okay, but fifth feels more relaxed, of course. You know what? Even the riding position seems somewhat similar to the to my Sportster. Handlebars are a little lower, a little more to the front, I think, which is giving me that sporty feeling. I'm having to lean forward just a little bit. Foot pegs are slightly more behind, but almost the same. Overall, of course, it's much higher. That feels good. And by the way, people are talking about this bike being heavy. I'm not feeling it at all. And that's again probably because of my Harley experience. Although, you know, Harleys are much lower, so the center of gravity is much lower, so you don't feel the weight much because of that. This one, people said that since the center of gravity is higher, you feel it more. Yeah, maybe if you drop it or if you are leaned over too much while standing still, yeah, maybe you'll feel it then. There you go. Tried a power slide also on this. It can do it, but that was sand, of course. So it's technically not a power slide unless you can break the traction on asphalt. So, yeah, so that was a test ride, and you know what, I really like the bike, although I know that it's not perfect in some ways, primarily on that performance area, and I still kind of have some doubts if that thing about long high-speed runs possibly being uncomfortable because of the buzzy nature of the engine, but for the most part it was a lot of fun to ride that motorcycle. And that thing about it being heavy and bulky, that's not true at all. I had a lot of fun with it. So now, of course, I should ideally try out some other motorcycles. Now the thing with this TRK is it's the easiest for me to afford. So if I decide to get this, I would have to wait less. If I decide to get something more expensive, I would have to wait longer to get that amount of money ready, you know. So that's another reason why I'm really leaning towards the TRK. And I think it would be unfair to not try out some other motorcycles before deciding. So the next in line is probably the Versys 650, although that's quite a bit more expensive than this one. You know, the TRK in Indian rupees, that's around 6.5 lakhs. Now, for those of you not familiar with the Indian numbering system, a lakh is around it's 100,000. So 6.5 lakhs, that's around 650,000 Indian rupees. So that's around that's close to $10,000 US. So 6.5 lakhs, and with luggage that would cost just upwards of 7 lakhs. So 700,000, roughly $10,000. So that's the TRK with pretty good luggage options, you know, proper big size aluminum panniers and top case. But if I consider the Versys, just the bike alone is gonna be upwards of 8 lakhs, and then luggage would be at least another 1 lakh or so. Look at that road here. See, roads like these, they are one of the reasons why I prefer off-road capable motorcycles for Indian roads. So yeah, that's the thing, guys. So the next plan is to try out the Versys 650, and I kind of, you know, hope that it's not going to be that much better than the TRK. You know, otherwise I really wouldn't be able to go for the TRK. Although I know that the Versys definitely is better. But yeah. So apart from that, I'm not sure what else to try out. I mean, I could go for the V-Strom, but again, that's even more expensive without luggage. And I'm not sure that's that much better than the Versys. Of course, the Versys is hardly an off-roader. That's more like a road motorcycle with a slightly higher ground clearance, which is basically what you need on the roads of India. If you go off-road, of course, that's a different story. I mean, although the Versys can take some mild off-roading, right? And it's the same story with the TRK 502, the non-X, because it has alloy wheels and road-biased tires, 100% road-biased. But I guess you would have the option of changing the tires to something, you know, more off-road capable. But yeah, for me, the primary thing is I want a road motorcycle with some off-road capability, as in let's say some bad road capability, you know, from what you've seen around here, you know, the Indian roads, the massive speed breakers, massive potholes and so on. And by the way, guys, I'm kind of also attracted towards some of the smaller but more powerful motorcycles. For instance, the Kawasaki Z or Z 650, or even the Ninja 650. I mean, I know that they are not really capable of two-up touring, but for solo rides, they've got to be a lot of fun. And also, they are not at all off-road capable. In fact, the Kawasaki's, because of their pretty low ground clearance. They're not really bad road capable either. So I know that's probably going to be a bad decision if I go for those. But they're in the prices are pretty attractive. I even considered the Z900 or the Suzuki GSX S750. That's a mouthful of letters. But it's a good bike, but of course doesn't quite qualify against my requirements. But they are just fun to ride, aren't they? I mean, I'm kind of undecided if I should be test riding them, because once you've had a taste of that kind of performance, it's very hard to settle for something lesser. So that's it, guys. That was a TRK test ride, and let's see what's next. Probably the Versus. When I do that, of course, I'll try to post a video of the ride itself and my thoughts on that motorcycle. And anything else I might go and test ride, and let me know what else I should consider. Your inputs are very welcome, of course, as always. So that's it for now, guys. Volatile 42 signing off. Bye.